Welcome to Afternoon Express Mzansi. I'm Palisa Dembe, and today we're taking a serious deep dive into addressing the scourge of gender-based violence in our country. We connect with singer-songwriter Loyiso Gijana about how he's using his voice to encourage other men to stand up in this fight. We'll also be hosting a very important panel discussion about what we can do when we're faced with violence. And then we speak to the outspoken Unathi Nkai as she shares her thoughts on the matter. Now, gender-based violence is a very prevalent issue in our country, so we want you to weigh in on social media. And we want to find out from you what more can still be done to prevent this. Ladies in the kitchen, happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, Polly, and happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm going to make a very comforting dish that we all need today. And it's like a milk porridge that my mom used to make for us when we're upset. Oh. And it's with cinnamon, sugar, and butter, and it's absolutely divine.
And if you are like myself and you've never made it before, please do go onto the website, get all the recipe details, all the information, and let's get cooking with this recipe today, guys.
Our country is faced with what our president describes as a second pandemic. We learn daily of the disheartening cases of gender-based violence against women, which are on a steady incline. Many organizations, citizens, and governments have joined the aggressive fights to put an end to the ill treatment and murders of women nationwide. Singer-songwriter Loyiso Gijana's request is simple: Madoda Sabelani, a call for men to act.
Madoda sabelani, madoda sabelani, madoda ngandani, ayo lengus, city lengus, madoda sabelani, madoda sabelani. Madoda mamelani, madoda mamelani, madoda ngandani, ayo lengus, city lengus, iyo lengus, madoda sabelani, madoda sabelani.
Oh, Loyiso, you've truly been blessed with that voice, but even further blessed with the message that you're sending out. Welcome to The Loft.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
You're a musician and you've decided to use your craft to make a call to fight against gender-based violence. Now, why have you decided to fight against this cause?
It's been something that's been stirring up my soul. I'm not going to lie to you. I was first, when I realized that men are at the power end of this situation, was when a friend of mine passed away. Well, she was brutally murdered by a post office employee, and her name was Uyinene Mkhwetyana. And that really triggered something in my soul as a man, and it angered me because she was a close friend of mine, but it wasn't my sister, it wasn't my mother. But I felt something. I was like, there's no way that our women are treated like this, and every day they are killed. They are killed brutally with no remorse. And then I took it upon myself as a musician to get out there, talk to the young boys. And this started last year. I had a lot of conversations with friends of mine about where it actually starts. And it starts by sexualizing women, calling women names, cultural. There's so many cultural situations where men feel like they're superior and they can say whatever they want to say to a woman. So I really took it upon myself as a musician and as a youth and as a man to say, no, the problem is us, it's not women. Let's not justify the acts that have been done. And men need to stand up.
Why do you feel men should be at the forefront of fighting against gender-based violence?
Valesa, it's been centuries, years, months, where women have been fighting for their lives. And if women can't help themselves, who's going to help them? who? And it triggered me that a lot of men keep quiet about these situations. A lot of men, instead, they encourage this behavior of ill treating women. And we now, what I've done is try to have these conversations with these young boys and young guys, because that's the minds that we need to nourish and bring nutrients and feed fruits, good fruits of life to. I really took it upon myself and I said, even if I die doing this, this is my purpose in life, and I'm going to protect women, I'm going to protect human beings. It needs to blow up. It needs to be big. It needs to grab the attention of everyone in this country. Like the corona was a pandemic, femicide is a pandemic, and something needs to be done about it.
Now, with that said, Loyiso, why do men find it hard to call out offenders in their close circles?
That's a good question. I actually had this conversation with a friend of mine yesterday, and he was like, "There's this thing called pride that, and the fear of being vulnerable, and it starts when a man is called powerful more than a woman, making them seem superior to a woman, and it starts there. Once we break that cycle of men feeling they are superior to women, that's when it's going to change. It's so deep-rooted. It's so deep-rooted. It's been happening for years, but there has to be a shift somehow. And I feel like it's the George Floyd of this movement. Now is the George Floyd of this movement, you know?
And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing just daily, every single day, there's another case, there's another name that we need to mourn, and there's another devastating story that's coming to the forefront. So if this happens to be our George Floyd, let's gather together then, South Africa, arm in arm. Now, we have the highest cases of femicide as in the world as a country. What does this reflect on society we live in?
It's a broken society, Vanessa. It is a broken society where from a young age we are not taught. We are not taught how to treat women, and from a young age we are not taught manners, how to treat a lady, respect a lady. And as soon as a child becomes a teenager, as soon as a child is a child, we need to teach them these things of, look, a woman is not any inferior than you. A woman is not any less powerful than you are. Women have given birth to you. They are much more powerful than you.
A very heartfelt cry. Now, Loyiso, how can we get men to clean up their act and do away with toxic masculinity? I mean, you've already mentioned that it starts at a young age. We need to teach and groom these young men to respect the women, but we're also seeing a huge rise in violence against our children. So this thing is deep-rooted.
If you don't grow up with a father figure, good inspiration, people that encourage you and motivate you, that's where it starts. That's where it starts. So people have started creating these movements in communities where they create awareness. They have groups on a weekly basis of just young boys teaching them how to treat a woman. No is no. So it starts there. Once we build a community, once we build a family of young men that are strong on the movement and are so against gender-based violence, that's when people are going to start catching on, and they're going to start feeling that, yes, this needs to change. If the government is not playing their role in punishing and giving justice for this, then we're fighting for nothing. So we have to work together with the government, work together with the president, and have justice for this.
Loyiso, in summary, what is your last advice or final cry to all those guardians, parents, grandparents raising children?
First of all, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the mothers, the grandmothers, and the guardians that are taking care of our kids. It's definitely appreciated. And I want them to stay strong and always have hope that there is going to be change. And also look after that child.
Can we get one more Madoda Sabelani in that beautiful voice, that soulful, soothing voice of yours, Mosulela?
I wasn't prepared for this, but okay. Madoda Sabelani, Madoda Sabelani, Madoda Nandani. Lengos, City Lengos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Just like that, South Africa, Sabelani. Siyabonga Loyiso. Even though I did put you in the on the spot, we have goosebumps here on studio, and I'm sure everyone at home has heard you loud and clear. Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Loyiso. Now, it goes without saying that this is no easy fight. However, we can all defeat this vicious cycle if we act in rooting it out of our circles and our communities.
I appreciate Loyiso for standing up and doing something, because I think the biggest thing when it comes, like they always say, with the first step to recovery is admitting that you have a problem. And I think for us as a country, Palesa, the first step is admitting that there's something wrong and it needs to be fixed.
Yeah, and I also think it is important what he said about the father figure that plays a big role in a child's upbringing. If a boy grow up with a self-confidence and appreciation for his mother and for his sisters, I don't think he will go into that behavior, you know?
Beautifully said, ladies. And you know, we've got some more beautiful messages happening on social media, because we've asked everyone, how do we put an end, quite practically, to gender-based violence? So we do have Uvukani here, and Uvukisani, my bad, Uvukisani Utim. I feel like everything is depending on us as men. It's time for us to stop protesting and get to action, that should one do something like that, gender-based violence, then she or he can be given a permanent punishment. What do you ladies think about that, a permanent punishment?
Yes, you know, I think they've got that permanent punishment in driver's license overseas, where they revoke it completely, the drunken driving. I don't know how they will do it, though, what the punishment will be, you know.
And you know, on that same point, UKB here, actually, UKB has a very good point, speaking about the punishment and repercussion. He says, I think that the state should make a heavier sentence for gender-based violence. Abusers need to be punished dearly. Women also need to stop giving these people power by staying in relationships that have a brewing toxicity. For a relationship that seems to get toxic, run for the hills before you become a statistic. There are better men like me out there who respect women. Hashtag Afternoon Express. Thank you so much, KB, for giving a shout out to all the men and you, Vukisani, saying that you are the change you want to see. We'll be reading a lot more of those as the show goes on. Now is the moment to speak up, to learn and understand what we all can do to address the senseless gender-based violence in Umzansi. Coming up, we host a panel discussion for this purpose. Warm up your winter with Super M by winning your share of 500,000 Rand in cash and prizes. Whether you need a morning pick-me-up, a midnight snack, or a study cram filler, buy any Super M. Follow Super M SA on Instagram or Facebook. Share your warm-up filler and tag 3 friends to stand a chance of winning your share of that 500,000 Rand in cash and prizes. South Africa is currently experiencing a second pandemic, the one being COVID-19 and the other the murder of our women and children. According to the World Health Organization, South Africa has one of the highest rates of violence against women in the world. Now to discuss this crisis in our country is our panel. We've got Siyabulela Gentile, founder and president of Not In My Name. Melina Rousseau, founder and executive director of Women-Led Movement. Bernadine Barcha, director of the Sarki Batman Center. And of course, Uspokazi Nikani, a survivor from the Sarki Batman program. Welcome every one of our guests today. Now, currently, South Africa is facing and fighting a second pandemic simultaneously, the one war on our women and children and the other the COVID-19 virus. We would want to start the discussion by asking everyone, what is the root cause of gender-based violence and why is it so prevalent in our country? Siyabulela, please may we start with you, Butwam.
Yes, thank you very much. I think one of the main causes of gender-based violence is obviously a system that is called patriarchy, which is a male system, which is a system that places males on the top of the social hierarchy, whereby putting women at the bottom and relegating them to second class or secondary citizens. And I think each and every thing around gender-based violence, femicide, rape culture, they all stem from that point of view.
Mm. And Melina, welcome back to The Loft. I know that you have blessed us with your presence right here in studio. But from your side, what are your views?
Patriarchy has caused eons of structural and systemic inequalities between males and females, which has led to gender-based violence. But there are many other contributing factors, like, for example, your alcohol and drug abuse, like your history of South Africa with violence, like the fact that there are unenforceability of laws. Those are all contributing factors towards the scourge of GBV in South Africa.
Mm. Now, Bernadine, for yourself, you are working with the survivors every single day. What is your view?
Well, I agree with the panelists. Obviously, South Africa is a society that is characterized by huge gender inequality. The gender gap in South Africa is considerable, and that plays itself out across the board in every aspect of a woman's life. So that is definitely contributing to the huge rate of GBV that we have in South African society. And there are societal factors that are contributing to it, like high rates of unemployment, like poverty that people are experiencing. So these also are contributing to the surge of gender-based violence in South Africa.
Spogazi, thank you so much for joining Afternoon Express and being brave enough to speak about your experience. Just to kick off this discussion, where's your standpoint?
For me, gender-based violence is like more now these days. It's the cause sometimes is alcohol and drugs use. Yes.
So, Bernadine, we want to provide a platform where women can know what they can do if they have been violated. So what services exactly are offered at the Sarki Batman Center and organizations like it?
Okay, so the Sarki Batman Center is a one-stop center for survivors of gender-based violence and their children. Our focus is squarely on empowerment of women as well as healing. So the services that we offer range from psychosocial services, which includes our counseling. We have a legal protection program at the center. We also have a child protection program at the center. We have an ECD center for the children that come into the center with their moms. We have a wide and very robust lobbying and advocacy program that we run from Sarki Batman. With regards to who can approach the Sarki Batman Center, it's we don't discriminate on any sort of basis. It's any survivor of gender-based violence and her children. The center is open 24/7, 365 days a year.
So, Spogazi, let's turn to you as a survivor who has been helped by the Sarki Batman Center. There's been an increase in the news regarding violence against women and children. Please may you tell us about your journey and how you have helped others from their traumatic experiences.
When I came into the Sarki Batman, I was being abused by my boyfriend. So I had to run from my place where I was living with him to the police station. That's when the police told me to come to Sarki Batman. So I came alone. So I met this auntie, this old lady, this Auntie Rachel. So she let me in. She assists me with everything, like toiletries and everything. But she take all my stories, so I told everything. She gave me a place because I came at night, so I had to stay overnight, and then the next morning I have to see the social worker for counseling on all this thing and tell my story also. That's how I got the place. But for the others that I try to to show them that I am strong, I can go further. So I show them the same way, and I try to let them know that there is help out there. There is people who can help us, like Sarki Patman Center, because ever since I came here, for me, it's like a home.
Now, Siyabulela, I'm sure you're just filled with joy when you hear such incredible success stories like Uspokazi. I mean, you are part of many civil rights groups, one of which is Not in My Name. Please tell us more about this.
Thanks again. I think, well, first of all, Not in My Name is a civil rights organization that stands up for the rights of all people, regardless of age, creed, and even gender. So all of our interventions, they become secondary and they become reactive until we deal with the actual root of the problem, which is toxic masculinity and how we socialize our boy children. And most of our talks and workshops with these boys are structured in such a way that the first part is always about readmission, admitting that as male or as men and boys, we are born inherently with the privilege that comes with you being a boy. And then we start teaching them that it's important to admit that, and with that those privileges comes responsibilities. And then we also encourage them to and go through the journey with them to unlearn and learn positive values that will make them obviously to be healthy and responsible men in our country, will contribute positively.
Yeah. Milena, as the founder of Women-Led Movements, please may you clarify what the challenges, progress, and areas of improvement are when it comes to women being protected by the law, the police, and our courts.
And I mean, in terms of the law, we covered. The problem that we have is the implementation of the law. And I'm so sick of saying this over and over and over again. It's the implementation of the law by the police. It is the implementation and the application of the law by the court officials. I mean, some of them do not even have the empathy, the depth, the knowledge, and the understanding of the law. If I did not experience this when I practiced law many years ago, and quite recently when I helped a victim of domestic violence, I would not have believed it. But I've seen it. So now what we are saying is, let's make your job a bit easier. We are going to identify the exact police stations, the exact courts, and court officials who are transgressing in their particular duty. And so indeed, we do have a very long way to go. And I feel that government cannot fight the scourge of gender-based violence on their own. But yet they are not investing the necessary resources within the criminal justice system, within NGOs, within organizations like my friend Bernadine there with the shelters, with organizations like Not in My Name, who is actually doing the hard work at grassroots level to effect change.
Thank you so much to our incredible panel of guests here who have added to our conversation and they've given us wisdom to move forward in a positive direction. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much again to our entire panel. Now, if you are seeking to stop the cycle of gender-based violence, head over to Afternoon Express's website, afternoonexpress.co.za, for all the information that you need to seek the help that you deserve. But from us here, we're thanking the organizations like Sarki Patman Center, Not in My Name, and Women-Led Movements for the incredible work that they do.
Whoa, my heart. I just want to say thank you for places like the Sarki Patman Center that actually helps people and that's got a safe haven for them, because that's what you need when you're in a situation like that. It's difficult, and I'm so glad that she said that she went to a police station and they actually took it to Sarki Patman, so that, if you don't know where to go to the police station. That's your first call.
So there are solutions.
There are solutions. There's help. Yeah.
There are things that can be done, ladies. Absolutely correct. You know, it's very touching, and it's also touching to see men like Brendan here on social media who are crying out to their fellow brothers. Brendan says, I totally agree with the chef, and I'm assuming it's Chef Anele. For example, I'm a big brother to 6 sisters over 30 and was raised in a home full of women, and that played a massive role in me protecting 3 women I saw being hurt whilst others just stood there and watched. We can stop gender-based violence. All we want, but what are we doing to protect them, my brother? That is a very straightforward call. Brendan is asking, what are you doing on a daily basis, men? Are you standing? Are you watching? What are you doing?
No, I fully agree with Brendan as well, because as a mother raising a boy, it is very important that the lessons I teach him now will carry him into his adult life.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And on that note, ladies, I know something else that's very important and you want to make sure is nutrition, that people are eating well. So what can we look forward to?
We are making a milk porridge with cinnamon sugar, with Clover fresh milk.
Ooh, all of that.
Divine. It's warm and it's fuzzy.
So all of that coming up shortly live on Afternoon Express. Warm up your winter with Super M by winning your share of 500,000 Rand in cash and prizes. Whether you need a morning pick-me-up, a midnight snack, or a study cram filler, buy any Super M, follow Super M SA on Instagram or Facebook, share your warm-up filler and tag 3 friends to stand a chance of winning your share of that 500,000 Rand in cash and prizes.
Clover Fresh Milk is the #1 milk brand in SA. Made with love by Clover.
Hello, everybody. Tonight we're making a delicious, warm milk porridge with Clover fresh milk. It's very comforting. You eat it with cinnamon sugar and butter. And my mom used to make this once a week in winter. And you've tasted it earlier on. What do you think?
I feel like it's a warm milk tart that you can have
Yes.
all year. It's like the dessert that you want to have
Yeah.
now in winter when it's nice.
Yes, and you know, we had as a main meal, we each got a bowl like that, and that was your main meal for the evening. And if you want the recipe, go to afternoonexpress.co.za. But let's start.
Okay.
So we need to pour some milk and to warm it up and to get it to boil. So I'm going to use the Clover fresh milk. It's in the new blue bottle. Do
I
you
see.
Yes.
I see that. And I'm not sure if you know this, but Clover milk undergoes 55 quality tests.
Wow.
Meaning that whatever milk you're getting,
It's
this
the
milk
best.
is the best.
It's
not
the
just
best. And it's packed with nutrients,
Yes.
protein, calcium, vitamin A, vitamin D that makes us
gosh.
happy.
All
It's
of
got
it.
everything in it. So if you see this on the shelves, it's still the same ingredient, just in a blue bottle that you can spot from far away. Okay, you're making?
Yeah, so you said you're making this milk. Guys, it's called malkos, by the way. She's
Yes.
busy saying milk porridge, but
Yeah.
you told me that it's malkos.
Yeah, it's malkos, yeah.
So to go with your delicious, tasty malkos, I decided to make a tasty syrup to go with
Oh,
it.
wow.
On top, because you mentioned cinnamon.
Yes,
So I was
yes.
like, let's try and, as usual,
Oh, yeah.
spice it up
That's
a
going to
bit.
be delicious. So
Yeah.
how do you make this? You've got flour. I've got flour here. I've got butter. And I've got an ingredient to flavor my milk, because the milk needs to be flavored.
Okay.
So I'm going to add a cinnamon stick.
Okay.
And in the olden days, they used to use any type of citrus.
Okay.
Like I could put this one in, citrus. There, I'm going to put that in. So you can flavor it with citrus, like a naartjie or orange, or with cinnamon, whatever you feel like. So I've got flour here, and I've got butter. That's at room temperature. So it's going to make it so much easier. The Afrikaans word for this is also frummels. And that is that small little crumb particles.
okay.
So I'm going to use one hand to make the frummels. This is very messy. This is very messy to make the frummels. And this is going to form like little lumps in the milk that you see there on that recipe there. Don't
So
want
it's
that.
almost like making a sauce, but now because you're making it on the side, when it goes in there, they're going to cook individually. And then,
Yes.
because that's why it looks like porridge. It actually is porridge. It's not, because when you mentioned porridge, I thought we were going to be using maize, and then you said flour. Then you
No
just blew me
flour.
away.
So the flour is going to thicken it, and the butter is going to make like little frummeltjies. So I'm just going to put this off before it boils over. And now you do, Tooms, you just stir your milk, and you add this gradually into the milk. And you can see it's already starting to form like little frummels. The butter is forming it.
So interesting.
Yeah, and it gets like thick, and you can decide how thick you want it. So let me just do that. How is your...
Yeah, while you're doing that, I'm just letting my sugar and butter melt together here to start our caramel first. So once it's melted down and it starts to brown, I'm
Yes.
going to go in with the cream, and then I'll finish it off with the cinnamon, because I don't want to burn the cinnamon. I just want that cinnamon flavor in it.
Yes.
And then we're going to top this wonderful thing that you're making. By the way, South Africa, I've never had malkos until today, until Anel made me taste it. And I have to say, it is divine.
It is divine, and it is. And you know, it is such a... it fills you up. It's such a nostalgic dish for me, because we were a big family, and we were quite poor. And this was one of the dishes my mom used to make for us, that she just had milk and flour and butter, and that was it. And it's rich, and it's so warm. You see, this is the consistency plus minus. I just want to quickly clean my hand here. It's full of frummels. So it's boiling away now, and it only needs about 2-3 minutes.
And then it's cooked.
Then it's cooked. Then it's completely cooked.
Oh, my word.
And
That's
if you
amazing.
know, I just want to tell you about Clover Fresh milk. It's got an 18-day... It stays fresh for 18 days.
Do you understand that, South Africa?
Do you understand that too?
18 days. So you buy it and you can keep it
Yeah.
for up to 18 days in your home. You buy it, you're ready, you just keep it there, use it
I
whenever
know.
you need it.
And as I said earlier on, it's got the nutrients in it. You get your calcium, and especially that vitamin D and A that we need. You know?
Yes.
James, I'm going to put some in here, because this is done already. Look at this.
And that's it. Quick and easy, ready to eat Oh my word!
Yeah.
And the one thing I also love about it, because we mentioned that you get it in, you buy it and you can keep it for up to 18 days.
Yeah.
It also comes in different packs. So if you're
Yes.
living alone like myself and you're in a single family home, you can literally get the smaller pack. If you're in a bigger home, you get the bigger pack.
But if you want to make this, you have to get the bigger pack because you need to make a lot. You see, I use about 500 mils and it just makes like one beautiful bowl. So look at
Wow.
that. So that is it. And now we just make cinnamon sugar. And everybody knows cinnamon sugar is just plain sugar with a copious amounts of cinnamon that you just stir. And I like lots of cinnamon. I don't want to play around with the cinnamon. How's it going there with your...
It's going well. So I think what you can do is pass me some of my malkos, and then I'm
Yes.
just going to top it with this amazing
I'm going to add a
cinnamon
bit of
caramel.
this here.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'm going to pass it on. Look at this. This is like restaurante.
It is.
It's
Thank
like
you, Mom.
we open our own restaurant in Afternoon Express.
Yes, and guys, you are all welcome to come to the Afternoon Express website. If you want to know what our recipe details are, go on to the website to get all
To me, you
of
know,
that.
I love caramel. Oh,
that looks
I think we're
divine.
going to fight over that bowl. I'm going to fight over that bowl.
I have dibs on this one. I'm sorry, I'm keeping this.
Okay,
So.
I'll have that big one. I'll have the next one.
But anyway, Palisa, I hope you've got some good news for us there on social media.
Clover Fresh Milk is the #1 milk brand in SA. Made with love by Clover.
Absolutely, Tumi. You know, people have been speaking on social media whilst you eat away. This is unfair, South Africa, but it's all good. You know, on social media, it's time to touch in and check with the ladies. I've been reading comments from the gents. So what are the ladies saying? We've got Knox, and Unox says, it all begins from the way the boy child is being raised, from the toys they give him, and being told men don't cry. It's our duties as parents to instill good behavior to our kids. Teach our child to respect girls and women. Enough with patriarchy. Bakwethu.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen to that, ne?
Yes.
So we can all agree,
Yes.
bakwethu.
Yes.
Down, go patriarchy down. Okay, we also have Randy with a very short message, and all that Randy is saying, hashtag stop abusing us, hashtag enough is enough. And I agree with that. On that same note, keeping hearing from the ladies, we've got Utobile, and Utobile says, hashtag Afternoon Express. This issue of gender-based violence is so draining. I sometimes can understand an abuser's mind. It doesn't make sense when someone can even rape a toddler and on top of that, brutally kill such an innocent soul. These are things that we talk about. These are things that we experience as a people, that we're saying, pansy, we cannot deal with the abuse.
Yes, I agree with you, Palisa. What society are we living in? But also, what are we leaving our children if we're constantly killing each other? And
Yeah, hi. It's a very morbid topic, but I'm so glad that we are coming with the glimmer of hope, making practical ways of helping the societies and the communities that are so vulnerable right now. Now, what we need right now are passionate voices that will amplify the cry for help on the ground. That's why coming up, outspoken media personality Unati Nkai calls into the loft to share how she is doing just that. Warm up your winter with Super M by winning your share of 500,000 Rand in cash and prizes. Whether you need a morning pick-me-up, a midnight snack, or a study cram filler, buy any Super M. Follow Super M SA on Instagram or Facebook. Share your warm-up filler and tag 3 friends to stand a chance of winning your share of that 500,000 Rand in cash and prizes. There are more and more growing calls for men who victimize and violate women to get their act together. Media personalities have come out in their numbers in support of the fight against gender-based violence and the rape culture we continue to be so normalized to. Unathi Nkayi is one personality who is using her voice to weigh in on the conversation, and she joins me now to engage us more on the topic. Welcome to The Loft, Unathi.
Hi, Palisa. How are you, my love?
Siswam, I'm good, but of course, you know, right now, as a country, we are dealing with a lot, but you know, it's nothing new. So I so appreciate you and incredible legends that follow you in the suit of cutting out the second pandemic that we're experiencing.
I love the fact that you are saying it's a pandemic because it's out of control, you know, and I think it's conversations that we've never known how to have because I think, you know, women they just want to like open their mouths and say, this is how I'm feeling.
Now, Unathi, you know, as we speak about this topic, it just gives us goosebumps. You recently spoke about the idea of rapey behavior. Please unpack this for us.
You literally you've sent my body into chills when you just say it because it is. That's rapey, you know? And my producer and I started that hashtag just because there's certain conversations you can't have where people don't get defensive, and it doesn't take away how we feel it. It doesn't take how traumatized we are or violated. So that's why we wanted to start the hashtag That's Rapey, just to say, you know, when you continuously ask me out, because I know you want to get your way with me later, that's rapey. When you touch and put your legs on my thighs, your hands on my thighs, and I haven't asked you to, that's rapey. When you objectify me and you talk about how built I am all the time as if I'm in denial of that, that's rapey, you know? So we wanted to have conversations where women could sort of identify even more, right? Because whenever we have these conversations, people say, yeah, but that's not. But if something feels rapey, then it is.
Okay, so Sis Unathi, a lot of men would argue and reduce their overtly sexual comments and actions to flirting. So then at what point does flirting cross over to violation?
I think any exchange of sexual energy has to be consensual. So if you're going to have to defend yourself for making me feel some type of way, just acknowledge that you overstepped the boundary. Don't get defensive about it. It's okay to retract and retrace your steps and say, you know what, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to offend you.
Yeah. So there has to be also that space for that dual conversation, for as much as we also feel uncomfortable, but also we have to hear the other end of the coin here. If someone says that was not my intention, that's not my intent, then we need to see forward action and for you to act differently than the next time. So there does seem to be...
The greatest apology is changed behavior.
And this then leads me then to Unathi. You know, there's this sense of entitlement that men feel that they have over women, which then allows them to take advantage of us. So what do you think informs this mentality, and how then do we reverse this psychology?
You know, I don't know how to answer the first question.
Love the honesty.
Yes, but I do know how to answer the second one. And my therapist explained to me, she said, it was never about me to begin with. As you were saying, it's that entitlement. So the gentleman that violated me, who was in a bath at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon when the rest of us girls are trying to work and secure our own bags, not somebody else's bag, he decided to video call me and expose, you know, places genitally in my face. And she said to me, it was never about me. He was in that moment, and he was enjoying that moment, and he decided in that moment he wanted an audience. It's him carrying the hurt, the entitlement, the exhibitionism, which are all cries for help because of some kind of sexual offense that they went through before that. So my suggestion would be, hurt people. So let's start healing people.
I love that psychology. Let's start healing people, moving towards a positive direction here. Considering the number of growing cases of abuse, rape, and femicide, do you think most men understand fully the severity of the situation that we're faced with?
I think examples are so blatant in that I don't fully think that a lot of them do. I don't want to generalize and blanket everyone, but I think a lot of them are oblivious of the repercussions of their actions.
It's scary to see that some people just are so aloof to it all and so consumed within themselves that they're unable to see how they're harming the next person, how they're hurting the next person. So what role should women be playing in the fight against gender-based violence?
So I think for me, I would ask that when someone says this happened to me, don't tell them what they should have done. For me, it's when someone comes to you and cries and says, please listen to me, I'm in pain, this is just happened to me. Whether you have experience or not, do not project and tell the person, I wish you would have done this. Listen with a clear, canvassed heart, with no judgment, because there's so much confusion that happens, you know, and you're asking yourself, was it me? Did I invite that? Did I entice that? Was I flirting too much? Was I flirting at all? You know, did I deserve that? So as this person is telling you this, trust me, there's so many questions that this person is asking inside. So don't come with your judgment. What I ask is that you listen with an open heart, a giving heart, a loving heart, and be the ear and the shoulder that you need, and be the ear and the shoulder that you want, and then that way you'll be able to assist. But I'm no professional, so I you know, that's all I can ask of us as a tribe.
Well, you know, Unathi, we definitely do hear your cry. You don't have to be a professional, trust me, Siswam. Your experience in life and, of course, the voice that you have accumulated within your years in the entertainment space speak for themselves. So we definitely hope that everyone who follows you, everyone who loves and supports you, definitely hears this call and this cry deep down from your heart. Thank you so much, Sis Unathi, for joining us and, of course, speaking out on something incredible.
Thank you for your love. Afternoon Express, thank you for the voice that you always give us, and thank you for being a wonderful institution for us. And ladies, if any hairs on your arms or your back rise, or your back gets stiff, or it just feels, it's okay to just say, that's rapey. Stop.
Let's keep circulating that hashtag. Thank you so much, Siswam.
Thank you, and let's bum down soon at the next Pharrell concert.
Yes, girl, shout out to those bum times. I'm okay, like, she's taking me to a zone. I am so in love with Unathi. It goes without saying that this will not be an easy fight, but it is one that we can defeat if we hold hands and speak with a united voice. Thank you so much to people like Unathi who keep lending their voice to ensure that awareness continues.
That woman makes me proud to be a woman. True. Huh? When she talks, that power,
I know.
She's taking our power back with her message.
I agree.
Unathi, we love you, sister. We love you.
I agree with you fully,
Yes.
and I feel like more women should be in that position where they stand up and speak, Palesa, and just, you know, put it out there.
Yeah.
Be loud, be proud, be bold. I mean, it's not by accident, South Africa, that I'm in red today with a bold red lip, because we are not going to be silenced anytime soon. We need the women of South Africa and the men to all gain hand in hand. You know, we've been saying it throughout the show, and fight together. Looking forward to continuing this conversation shortly. Now, we've been reaching out to stars and experts about how we can address gender-based violence, but we want to hear more from you, Mzansi. Coming up, we'll be discussing your thoughts as you've shared them on social media. Warm up your winter with Super M by winning your share of 500,000 Rand in cash and prizes. Whether you need a morning pick-me-up, a midnight snack, or a study cram filler, buy any Super M, follow Super M SA on Instagram or Facebook, share your warm-up filler and tag 3 friends to stand a chance of winning your share of that 500,000 Rand in cash and prizes. Welcome back to Afternoon Express, and I hope that you're having a fantastic Tuesday afternoon, although we are tackling a tough subject, but one that is very important in South Africa. Ladies, before we get into your personal thoughts, I had to share something that a viewer on social media has read out to us. Uliko says, #Afternoon Express. I'm a teen and my mom was a victim. She died whilst I was too young. I had no power to protect her from dad. I suggest that as a country, let's stop all the talking and arguing because time is ticking. Some woman out there is fighting for her life from an evil man. Let's act. On that very passionate note, ladies, what are your opinions? I mean, sorry, Dumi, we've got a very personal account here. Someone who's lost their mother.
I mean, that just put a lump in my throat because just the thought of having my son growing up without me because of someone's lack of respect for my life, that is scary. And he's right when he says, let us act now.
Can you imagine the scars on him as well as a person to see your mother die at the hands of another person? Ek bedoel, it is just too much.
Someone you love. It's not even a stranger. It's his own dad.
So moving forward, ladies, on a very positive note, we know what we are faced with as a country, but we need to also find a solution.
I think it is, like Loiso stood up, he actually talked about it. And I think men must accept and understand that they are part of the problem, you know, and that, but they can change. It can change for your family.
Yeah, very true. And also, not just change, but we also need our systems, the government systems in place to do something. Let the people actually be penalized for that.
Well, I have to also thank everyone for contributing and giving your very touching personal stories. I know it's not easy and it is very vulnerable, but we definitely appreciate you. I appreciate you ladies too. So join us tomorrow as we take a look at things, parenthood and childcare whilst in lockdown. Until then, Mzansi, good night, stay safe and happy eating.
Afternoon Express, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.